Okay, so this is for the chapter on morphology or the week on morphology and etymology, primarily morphology, um, though we'll have some great exercises on etymology. For linguistics 11, all of these can be answered just with using the Wikibooks link, the open source Creative Commons link on morphology. And I will make a general weekly kind of video for that. But I wanted to primarily, so this is an overview, and it's from that, and I'm going to go over that in the weekly video. But I took from the material that I used directly for your midterm and your final on starting here. Um, so morphology, word formation, and etymology. I'm going to move this down, and I just want to. I put this in the previous study guides, and I want to make sure these are all 100% clear. Uh, some of the times, like these will be shortened on the Kahoot because you can't write that much in a Kahoot, which is a problem. But they are there for the ones that are actually in your midterm and your final. So I'm going to go over these pretty quickly. Um, but you can slow them down if you want. You can speed them up if you want. It's all good either which way. Um, so so the process of combining two or more words to form a new word. So this is compounding. This is some of this stuff is like stuff that you're teaching as elementary school teachers. And we all do in languages. Um, so you combine two waterbed. That's compounding. Now it could be a neologism if it's a new compounding, right? But neologism, neo is new, logos is word in Greek, neologism. Okay, so combining two or more words to form a new word that's waterbed. Uh, a word formation process in which a longer word is reduced to a shorter word with Y or I at the end. Telly, movie, television is shortened to telly. Movie is, it's like moving picture, and it's like a long word, and it's movie. And there's a lot of them. Barbecue, Barbie, which we don't do in the United States really. Throw a shrimp on the Barbie mate, didn't do the accent, but that's hypocorism. It's a type of clipping, right? Um, it's kind of the biggest word that you'll have here, kind of new word that you won't hear much. Um, word derived from the name of a person or place. So sandwich this is what they call an eponym. Okay. Now the thing is, the guy's name wasn't Sandwich. It was Lord Montague, the Earl of Sandwich, and sandwiches were named, uh, allegedly named after him. I mean, that name has stuck since then. Don't think in any way that he was the first guy. They always talk about it like, oh, he's the first guy to put meat in between bread and call it a sandwich. But people have eaten sandwiches forever, all over the world, all kinds of cultures. But uh, eponymous can also mean like Odysseus, the eponymous hero of the Odyssey. It's named after him, right? That's also eponymous. The study of the origin and history of words is etymology. A new word is a neologism, and the process of taking words from other languages is borrowing. Okay, so acronym is a new word formed from the initial letters of other words. NASA, snafu, situation normal, all effed up. Military has a lot of these. Education has a lot of these. We all know acronyms. Lots of them in texting and BRB and all these other kind of things. Um, so The process of reducing a word such as a noun to a shorter version and using it as a new word such as an adverb. Um, babysit. Okay, babysit from babysitter. So this is kind of like this is back formation, and so you had babysitter first, and then you create babysit. So it's a noun, babysitter, and you use the verb babysit from it. Problem with telling people like it's back formation is, well, you had to know which one was first, and most of us don't really know the history of words, you know, and sometimes history of words are just opposite. Anyway, it's back formation. A change in the function of the word. For example, when a noun comes to be used as a verb. So text is a noun, essentially, like a text, right? That's a text. But we started to use it as a verb. And I don't know if you still, but I remember, when you'd use it as a verb in the autocorrect, they would try to correct it. Um, and it's the same with a lot of them. So text being used as a verb rather than nouns, like and she texted me, or I texted her. The same with Google, right? Google was, well, the derivation of Google is entirely different itself, but for that word, but as a verb, right? Is a corporation, a giant corporation, kind of scary corporation. Um, if you really want to read it interesting, well, the ideas in the book are really interesting. It's not that well written of a book, but it's about the rise of surveillance capitalism and how they make money off of, you know, spying on us on everything we do, all the psychological things that we share that makes us, susceptible to marketing from all kinds of corporations. Um, that's a great book. Anyway, so if you Google somebody, right, to look up somebody, that's a verb. Originally it was a noun. And so we have that with a lot of things. And sometimes poets and other people play with that. This is called conversion. You convert something from one grammatical category to another. Okay, a type of borrowing in which each element of word is translated into the borrowing language. So in French, scrape sky, it's literally scrape sky instead of skyscraper. That's a loan translation or a calc. Big word, calc. Some people will go, oh, yeah, it's a calc. And, they try to be impressive. Process of combining the beginning of one word and the end of another word to form a new word. For example, brunch from breakfast and lunch, and smog from fog and smoke. And there's all kinds of, ginormous from gigantic and enormous, and there's all kinds of ones like that people do. And sometimes they try them out, they get popular for a while, they go away. The process of reducing a word of more than one syllable to a shorter form. Ad from advertisements, or gas from gasoline. We do this so much. Gym from gymnasium. It's actual process that we do. Okay, so one of the things I want you to know is, so there are two types of morphemes, right? In morphology, I won't make this too long because it'll be redundant, but from the other video I'm going to make, but this video, um, there are bound and inflectional morpheme. I'm sorry, there are bound and free morphemes. So bound morphemes have affixes. So usually we teach about affixes, we teach about prefixes, right? And suffixes. They come pre in the beginning, suffix at the end. There are also infixes. There are also circumfixes in some languages, which we don't use in English, but we do have infixes, where we kind of stick a word in the middle, usually like cuss words, other ones like that. Okay, bound morpheme, meaning it can't stand alone. Free morpheme, there are two types. Free morphemes are um, what they call lexical, the words with meaning, usually like nouns, verbs, etc., and then functional. And lexical are like unlimited, right? There could be there really is no limit to lexical. Functional words are words like and the, which are called determiners or articles, or a type of adjective called determiners or articles. There are only so many in a language, right, of determiners. Um, Conjunctions, right? We have seven main coordinating conjunctions in English, for and nor, but, or, yet. So those are our coordinating conjunctions. Uh, you know, Words that serve a function. There's only so many of them. Prepositions, etc., etc. So those are those are free, lexical, and functional. And then the bound there are derivational and there are inflectional. There are 8 inflectional morphemes, and there are okay, and derivational is another thing where you're looking at roots. So a bound morpheme added to the end of the word is a suffix, like fainted, the ed, right? And illness. Oh, sorry. So fainted is inflectional, while illness is derivational. Um, a bound morpheme added to the beginning of word, like un and unhappy, right? A bound morpheme such as un or ed added to the end of the word. That's just general affix. So you had a suffix for 13, you had a prefix for 14, 15, you have um, affix, just general, because it can be either. And then your morpheme in the middle of the word, right? That's an infix, so it's in the middle, right? Uneffing believable, right? So effing in uneffing believable, or F in anyway. That's an infix. Okay, 2 examples of bound morphemes in the word carelessness. Um, so the root word is care, right? Less and ness, those are both bound morphemes. 2 examples of free morphemes here. There's the um, lexical morpheme, are, and there is the functional morpheme, and. A lexical morpheme, here, are, and derivational morpheme, or sorry, functional morpheme is and. Okay, so a bound morpheme used to indicate grammatical function of a word, also called an inflection, is an inflectional morpheme. So here it should be like dogs, which shows the plural. And again, there are 8 inflectional morphemes in English, and a free morpheme. A free morpheme is, so that's inflectional morpheme. A free morpheme uses a functional word, functional morpheme. So conjunctions, prepositions, pronouns, um, and but for, when, because, in, on, by, he, she, it. Yeah, pronouns are another one. Like they're really limited in language. So those are free morphemes. Those are functional morphemes. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, content of the messages we convey. For example, girl, man, house, break, sincere, sad. There's usually hundreds of thousands of these in the language. Okay, a bound morpheme. So here we used 21 is inflectional morpheme, 22 is functional morpheme, 23 is lexical morpheme, and so a derivational morpheme is a bound morpheme such as ish or nest, used to make new words or words of different grammatical category. So boy is a noun, boyish is an adjective. So it's in contrast to an inflectional morpheme. We have derivational and inflectional morphemes. Inflectional morphemes have affixes, suffixes, prefixes, infixes, circumfixes, and the derivational morphemes, um, well, the bound ones are like this and ness and other ones, but or they're the roots. Okay, so that will help you answer study guide stuff. It's another level, and I'll give you credit for that too. I just want to make this short little video, so it's really clear what you have, the answers for these.